Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Blue Crew podcast, the show hosted by Gen Z Democrats for Gen Z Democrats. Here we'll discuss current events, policy, and politics from the perspective of young voters. In an ever-changing political landscape, we believe it's important to facilitate open dialogue in order to promote national unity. Stick around for the newest episode of The Blue Crew.
Oh, can I make one comment before you start?
Mm-hmm.
I just heard my favorite line of all time. And there's not a lot of time to use it, but Nancy Pelosi is what would happen if a Prada bag with a gun in it became a person.
Wait, I heard that too. Lovett said that. Lovett said that. Yeah,
during that because I won't be able to remember it. But
yeah, that's hilarious.
That's
I
awesome.
heard that yesterday too.
I love John Lovett. He's one of the funniest people on the planet. Okay,
He is
I'm
pretty
gonna
cool.
go now.
Well, hi everybody. How are you all doing today?
Good.
We last spoke. I know I saw some of you the other weekend with not Zach though.
I know. I wish I could go. Dude, Will is so tall. I didn't realize that. He was like towering over everybody in all the photos.
I
You
know.
don't realize on Zoom. But yeah, I'm jealous. I missed that.
It was a lot of fun. I think we all had a great time.
Yeah,
But-
it's good to hear.
Yeah, so I have some questions, very low key. The first of which being, what was the funniest or most interesting thing that has happened to any of you while door knocking or canvassing or any kind of like political engagement activity? I know the most interesting thing that's happened to me is when I was campaigning for Jim Hadsma. I was going out and I was knocking doors and I was like coming up to this like Republican's house and I noticed like there was a bunch of like people in their garage and all that stuff. It was just a bunch of like old white men. And my little Twinkie ass was just walking up and I was like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm canvassing for Jim Hadsma." And like right after that he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm voting for him. Do you want a Bud Light?" And I thought it was interesting. I thought about taking it, but then I was like, no, I'm working. I wanted to though to be polite.
I think I've told like a good story about canvassing that I've had. My quintessential bad story I've had about canvassing is when I did so many doors for ND11 in 2022 that like I feel like I had to have a huge mixed bag of experiences.
Were
But
your knuckles bleeding from knocking?
yeah, it was
Yeah.
like hundreds a day. It was nuts. And one time I went up to this woman and she was painting her deck and I came up to her and I was like, I gave my little spiel about Andy Levin, and she's like, "Oh, like I went to high school with him," and I'm like, "Oh my God, like that's so exciting!" And I was like, "I'm gonna have such a wonderful interaction with this person," and then like Marjorie Taylor Greene starts like pouring out of her mouth, like absolutely nuts things, like Jewish space lasers, like crazy, crazy, crazy things, and I'm like, "This is the biggest like 180 I've ever had." And I was like, okay, have a nice day. Like I had to extract myself from the conversation. And it was like, I think what canvassing teaches you is that stereotypes on people aren't always correct, but like most of the time they are. And she was like this old lady who had like the big, huge American flag on the house and was like painting her deck. I'm like, I probably should have known in hindsight. I probably should have guessed.
Like, was she mad at you, or like? Because I've learned that there's like two types of conspiracy theorists. They either want to like teach you or like enlighten you about what they're learning or what they
Yeah, she
believe,
wasn't
or they're like,
mad.
yeah, mad. Yeah, it's just like,
She was just like, "This is the truth. I'm
right,
informing you." Like,
right.
okay,
They're
thank
doing you a
you.
service.
Yeah.
Interesting. I see on here it could also be about phone banking. And one time I was phone banking for Kevin Hertel and we accidentally called a meth clinic. And we're like, oh, we're sorry. Like, I don't know how we got this number. And that was funny. And also, I will share, this isn't like funny or lighthearted at all, but one time when I was knocking doors, there was like this guy and he really didn't seem to like that we were walking around in his neighborhood. And he like told one of the three people that I was walking with that he was gonna like sick dogs on us. And that was probably the most terrifying thing that's ever happened to me. Luckily, there was no dogs. We did not get hurt, but I was definitely like, I'm never going door knocking again, ever.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Imagine the
By
dog.
myself, at least. I from that point, I didn't want to do anything by myself because they wanted me to go to a polling location that like election day, so we could like pass out our literature and stuff like before the mark where they say you can't. And I was like, I'm not doing it by myself because that just scared me. I didn't want to do anything else by myself.
This isn't like a canvassing story, but like when I was a sophomore in high school, so 4 years ago when Joe Biden was running, I put a Biden sign in my front yard, a Biden Harris sign in my front yard, and I was so proud of it. And then like after election day, like, I kept it up there for a little bit because it was like during 2020 when there was like a lot of mail-in ballots and like absentees, so we didn't know the winner like exactly after election day. So I kept it up there, and my dad was telling me like, bring it in, and it's something's gonna happen to it. Like, if you want to keep it as like a relic, you probably shouldn't just leave it out there. I'm like, no, 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 we gotta like wait till it's formally called, which is like I don't know, like 4 days, 5 days later, and then of course, like when it was called, like the night after, I go out to go grab the sign, and it was gone. It was just the wire that was left that held up the sign. So somebody had come to my house and stolen, probably presumably one of my neighbors, stolen my Joe Biden sign, and I was so sad.
You know what you can do to stop that? You can put like glue or like glitter on it, and like no one will want to touch it, or like mulch
Oh,
or
that's true.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've
Like
heard. I've heard people do that, especially if you're in like a red area and people keep messing with your signs. Like they'll know not to take it again because
yeah. Well, there's so many Trump. It's not even Trump vans. I don't even care about vans. It's just so many Trump signs
yeah.
in my neighborhood now. It's kind of crazy. So I'm trying to pre-order my Harris Walls one because I'm so sick of it. I even people are proud that they vote Trump. Like, can we just go back to 2016 where people were scared to tell pollsters that they were supporting Trump? Like, I hate that.
Aren't you in Ann Arbor?
No, no. I mean, I am now. I moved back, but my hometown is just like it's
Oh,
pretty
okay.
evenly split.
I was about to say like Trump's in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, no. Well, there is one. What right when you enter Ann Arbor from the highway, I forgot which one, but there's a Trump fan sign. Did you see that, Fonch, when you came in?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right there. I'm like, whoa. I guess they're just trying to promote as much as they can.
That's interesting that they like took the sign instead of like vandalized it in like any
Yeah,
way. I don't
true.
know. If it were me, I'd go around to like all the Trump signs that I'd see and I would like find a way to like make it look like there were like large bite marks taken out of it.
That's like
Like
high.
human bite marks.
That's pretty high effort. I feel like I
Always
would
think
probably
about
just
it is
grab
very high effort.
something.
I wouldn't do it, but I think someone else should. Um, the next question that I have for us, what is one political meme that you still think about or any favorites? I would say I don't know how much you guys remember about the plethora of like other Democratic candidates we had like in the like 2016 election, I think, but just Bloomberg for president. His whole
That was
thing.
2020. I think that
That
was
was it
2020.
2020? I thought
Yeah.
maybe probably. You're probably right. I have no idea, but I just think it's so funny that he spent so much money just to not be president.
I still use the like it's Jover in conversation and like it's
Yeah.
Barack, like we're Barack and it's Jover. I don't know. That's
It's
just
what? It's Barack?
like we're back. Like it's back.
Oh.
Oh.
Like we're so Barack and it's so Jover. I use that just like, with
My
friends.
my
That might just be my friend group that like we circulate just like be like that.
no, my favorites, it's not like I saw these live because I was too young, but just like George Bush's whole presidency, like Now Watch This Drive. That's just
Mhm.
like such a classic.
That
Him
is such a
him
good
like
one.
ducking under the shoe. Just a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah,
Did you
I
ever see
mean,
those like oh, you can go.
no, go ahead, Cassidy. What were you saying?
Okay. Did you ever see those like politics out of context
Yeah, I love
memes?
Hmm.
them.
Or oh my God, that's what that one reminds me of because they always put
Hmm.
that one in there and they're just like saying random stuff that like out of context just sounds
Yeah, Trump has a lot of funny ones too, but like they're honestly
they
sad.
all do.
They're
They all
sad, but
have
it's like
themes.
they're funny. Like him in I think it was Puerto Rico with
Yeah,
the paper towel shooting it like a basketball into the
that was
crowd.
gonna be
Like it's
mine.
so
Yeah,
unhinged, and it's like it shouldn't be funny because like this is the president, but I mean it unfortunately is funny.
yeah. It would be funny if he wasn't the most powerful man in the world at the time. But like the what about the one where he was talking about like a hurricane? I'm forgetting which hurricane, but he was like,
Oh my,
it's one of the wettest from the standpoint of water. Like that's such a
yeah.
classic. What are you even saying? Or what else? Trump has such good ones.
We were talking about it in Lansing where he lied about the hurricane path and drew his
Oh
own
yeah, he
thing.
used a Sharpie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
My
just
God.
That's funny.
In 2020, I think it was like the Daily Show, they did like the top 100 scandals of Trump's presidency.
Mm.
And like I want to just rewatch that again, like after 4 years later, to see what that was like.
What about
another
the
one of
Obama tan
wait,
suit
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say
scandal
that.
where he wore a
Yeah.
tan suit?
Another one of my favorites is Tucker Carlson and the M&Ms. Like it's not really political,
That's
but
so
just the
funny.
fact that he can't stop talking about the M&Ms.
Woke M&Ms have returned. Yeah, that's great.
My God.
Just Tucker Carlson in general,
Oh,
honestly.
have you guys seen the Ben Shapiro one? This is like I don't this is like a YouTube thing. Like Ben Shapiro where he's like even if you believe climate change is real and like the oceans are gonna rise, don't you think people are just gonna sell their houses and move? And then the
Oh
guy
yeah,
comes through the walls, he's like, sell their houses to who, Ben? Aquaman?
Yeah, yeah.
I love that video.
That's good.
the classic.
Good. Another one that I really like that I remember like so much from my childhood is like a lot of people saying like thanks Obama.
I was gonna
Yeah.
mention that one. We love
I
them so much.
I was so confused as like a fifth grader when like my classmates would be like saying like thanks Obama for something because I take everything literally sometimes and that was like especially true as a child and like I would be like what do you mean he's not here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah, and people,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
like for random stuff,
Yeah.
whatever
yeah.
inconvenience in your life, you'd just be like, "Thanks, Obama." Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that.
Hmm.
Another thing that like it's funny, but it's also kind of sad because it's how bad Hillary Clinton was with getting the youth. Things like let's Pokemon Go to the polls.
Oh my
Like it's
God.
just
Yeah.
Just
so
chilling
it's
in Cedar Rapids.
yeah. I just it's they're bad.
Chillery.
Have you seen that picture of her like just standing in like what is like a normal apartment and she just looks so like
Yeah.
cold and terrified? It's
Yeah.
like, my God, she's in
He
a
walked
different
into a
time.
working class home. Yeah.
It's like that's like Trump recently talking about the price of cereal by the pound. Like he was like, cereal used to be hundreds of dollars a pound. Now I don't know what he was talking about, but his prices were very much off.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know anything about the economy. He doesn't know anything about the price of Captain Crunch. I don't think
No.
he eats that.
Yeah, he did that press conference with like about like how it was unaffordable to live and he got his groceries from like the local supermarket. And instead of just holding it at a supermarket or someplace, he brought it to his like golf course, his golf club, which
His
is like
own. His own.
yeah,
Yeah. Not
his
even, he
half
doesn't
a
even belong
million
there.
dollar membership a year golf club where he's like, yeah,
Right.
you're really in touch with the people, Don. You really got these price gougers on the run. Like, what do you
Well,
do?
what was even worse is that like they set up the groceries but out of frame. So just he just looks like a deranged old man standing outside of his golf club yelling about prices and everyone's like, "Why is there like meat to your left?" Like he's just like a little bit out of the frame. It was so ridiculous. But I
Something
guess I
kind
mean
of
that's
related. Something kind of related is when Trump and Giuliani would recently at the Four Seasons
Oh yeah.
landscaping.
Landscaping?
That was the funniest
Yeah.
thing ever.
Just like the pictures from that, because it's just like such a, it's so good.
Can't make that up.
This Trump's whole existence, I feel, is one big political meme.
Which is sad.
All right, I'll go to my third question, which I feel very proud of for thinking of this, and I hope you guys all really like it. Pretend you are a campaign manager or a chief of staff. Who would you choose, i.e., celebrity, fictional character, your bestie, your mom, with no political experience to run for office, and what office would you have them run for? I pick Princess Bubblegum from Adventure Time, and I would have her run for president.
Yeah, she's a
Good
leader.
one.
Yeah.
I mean, she like kind of is.
There's like no objections there. Everyone's like, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt for a second when I was like thinking about it, I was like, wait, does that like count as like political experience? And I'm like, no, that's like those are like fictional politics in a fictional
No, it counts.
Andy. I want to see Princess Bubblegum like debate about like
I don't know if we've ever seen
or whatever.
so interesting, like a royal blood running for office.
Exactly.
That's a good. I have one. I would want to see Mickey Mouse in any office. I don't think it matters, but I know people will like write in Mickey Mouse, like it's a really common write-in. It's like they're just gonna like put someone down. And I just think it would be funny, like what if he won? Like what if all these people writing in Mickey Mouse and he just won?
Mickey Mouse would be like a great press secretary. Like throw him in front of the press. Imagine that. Imagine like
Yeah,
turning-
no, I like that. I like that. He's like, hey everybody.
I wish I could do a Mickey Mouse impression and start talking about price gouging.
Politics. Yeah, right.
That would be good.
Like, too, like how is it? Would he be like really small or would he be like normal sized? Like, like what are like the
Would he be like a
3
cartoon?
feet. He's like
or,
3 feet tall.
Yeah, I'd hope
Would
he's
he
not.
be like a cartoon, or would he be like a mouse?
I really hope he's not a photorealistic 3-foot mouse.
I
Like
agree. I
that'd
have
be
to agree on that.
terrifying.
I have to go with Dunder Mifflin Scranton's fearless leader, Michael Scott.
I was gonna say
And
that, but I don't know.
Dude, I
I would
hate
run him
The
for
Office.
president.
I'm so sorry. I hate
Wait.
The Office.
You
I
hate
hate awkward humor, and I hate Michael Scott.
All
Like,
right, let's leave in a long pause. Let's do a long pause, and I'm leaving it in post because that's just
Yeah, it's like his
There we go.
favorite show ever. It's
yeah. I mean, that's ridiculous. Come on, I've made Vanch watch like we've moved into our apartment for like 3 days. We've watched The Office like 4 days worth of The Office. I mean, it's amazing. And Michael would be a great president. By the way, I'm running him for president because he knows how to bring people together. I mean, he
maybe at the end of like
considers
season
The
5.
Office. Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know,
he's got to mellow
like
out.
the
Enough with
humor, like
racism
yeah,
and sexism.
yeah. Maybe like a
Yeah.
Secretary of State or something. No, never mind.
But hey, maybe he laughs in the face of cancel culture, right? I'm sick of this. Let's get back to some raw personality.
Imagine getting like a horror villain in like the Senate or the House, like Freddy Krueger or like It, the clown from It.
Yep. We already have Mitch McConnell, so that's not too far off.
How
Yeah.
funny would it just be to like have all these like conniving politicians and you just have like Freddy Krueger just sitting there.
That's good.
I feel like Benson from Regular Show would also be a good candidate.
Oh,
Like-
Oh, dude,
Like a
Benson's
good,
a
like-
hothead.
Like a local position, though.
honestly, I feel like the whole
Maybe.
regular show cast could like all get cabinet positions.
I think so too. Actually, that's
Like Skips is like an advisor.
not that bad of a take. Yeah.
What can write Rigby or Department of? I have no clue actually. I don't know why I was going with that.
Rigby's gonna be like Rigby's the intern. Rigby's the staffer.
No, but like
He's-
most of them would be like EPA, environmental, because that's what
Oh,
they
yeah,
do. They did the park, right?
Hmm
Put them there.
Yeah.
I'd run Batman for president. Because
Mm.
he's not gonna get lobbied. He's too rich, and he can like beat up people, and he's like anti-corruption. I feel like he'd be like, and he's like a good what's it called, detective. I feel like he'd get to the bottom of like some stuff.
And he's tough
who would've
on
voted for
crime.
Batman? Yeah, and he's tough on crime.
I like that. I like that.
Does anyone have
Cassidy has not stopped laughing since this question has been asked. She's loving this one.
I like
I'm
this
so
one.
glad. I really like this. I really like this one. I like just thinking about like all the like people and like let's put them in a political position. Let's make them in
Mhm.
charge of something. I think it's funny, but that's my third question. I only have one more question after this, so we can keep thinking of different people, or I can ask my final question, and it'll be a
Let's hear the final question.
short episode. Okay. What's your favorite viral political moment that still makes you laugh? I really liked when people thought that Obama was gonna like run for another term again, and then he was like, I don't have any terms to run. I know because I won both of them. I thought that was that was such like a powerful phrase, and I thought it was good. And I thought it was funny.
I just think about like the Simpsons predictions, like the Simpson prediction of Trump. That's
Yeah.
really scary.
So
And
wild.
then too, just recently had an episode where I think it was who's the younger daughter? Forget her name.
Maggie.
Maggie, yeah, where Maggie she runs for president, and then then Kamala ran. Kamala.
Kamala.
Kamala. Come on.
Kamala.
Kamala ran.
If Alex is
Yeah,
there,
you're
if Alex
lucky
is here, we
Alex
got
is
you.
there, 'cause
Yeah.
they would have killed
Those
you.
are weird.
Yeah.
Any of the Simpsons predictions definitely are creepy to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I always like this isn't like funny, but it always makes me smile, the thumbs down from McCain for like getting rid of Obamacare.
That actually might be one of the greatest political moments like in our lifetime.
Yeah.
That
It's
was
so,
so
poetic. It's like
it is.
that stuff doesn't happen in real life, and that it just did.
Yeah, and have you ever seen like the analysis of the
Yeah.
video?
Yeah.
If you watch, it's like McCain does the thumbs down, and then you see Chuck, like people in the back, some Democrats in the back, like cheering, and then Chuck Schumer's in the front, like trying to quiet them down. And there's like all these like inner workings that are going on, and it just like kind of gives you a peek behind the curtain to
Very
see how
cool.
it all works. And it's just such a I love that moment. That's a good one actually. I mean, I remember it was. I mean, this is only a couple months ago, but I remember I was at work. And I got off at 5 o'clock, and so it was like 4:30-ish, and I saw that the jury had reached a decision on Trump's hush money trial, and I was like, oh my God! So I ran to my manager's office, and I was talking to him about it, and then luckily, like the jury held off until I got home from work, and I turned on the TV in my kitchen, and I watched 34 one after the other. I was so shocked, and
Watching
it was
it
on
one
all
after
counts.
the other was like nuts. I was on the phone with my friend while it was happening, and we were just like, what is like this is insane. Like it's something you don't think is possible until it happens. Does that make
Right.
sense? Something like
Right.
this is like not real.
Yeah. And it was just like, I mean, yeah, insane. And especially like it was like poetic justice from when he told Clinton in 2016 when she was like, we're awfully lucky that someone with Donald Trump's temperament doesn't run the country or something. And he was like, yeah, because you'd be in jail. Like I remember watching that in sixth grade, like staying up, my whole family was asleep, and I was watching that debate. It was sixth grade, yeah. And I was like, wow, that's a powerful line. Like I can't believe he said that. And then, however many years later, 9 years later, 8 years later, he's the one that's found guilty. And I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm glad Hillary Clinton could watch that happen.
I think one moment for me was after the 2022 midterms when we were hearing about the red wave, and then just like the media reaction when the red wave didn't come, like just seeing like Fox News freak out because their polls were wrong and that they're losing so much.
I still don't
It was great.
understand that. Was the red wave like a media thing, or was that in the polls? I've heard like
I think
that
it was like I think they just didn't account for young people at all. Because usually polls aren't really like young people
They're
aren't
like,
really engaging in polls as much. So I think that they just had their estimates wrong and like they expected way more seats than they
so
ended up winning.
Yeah,
there was the polls. It wasn't just like a media
But I
assumption.
think both. I think like I think the media just went off the polls and like made it like, oh, a red wave is coming.
and I think like the idea of like a low like sitting president's approval rating, which like
Mhm.
Joe Biden wasn't doing that well, and then also coupled with like the nostalgia of Republican control or at least Donald Trump's presidency was kind of like getting the media into a frenzy, and then maybe like polls were responding to that. I don't know how that technically works, but yeah, that was great. And then I remember going into my gov class after that, like the day after, and just being so happy. I was so nervous I was going to come back and all the conservatives in my class were going to start like taunting me, but I was able to save face there.
I can't believe they overturned Roe v. Wade. That was so stupid.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that's why.
that was political move.
Honestly,
That was
like
like the only reason that worked. Like, only reason there wasn't a red wave is just so many people came out.
I mean, and
it's
honestly, one of the reasons why Donald Trump might not win if Kamala wins this election will be Roe v. Wade. I mean, it's been 2 years, but we're still seeing the effects and the electoral power of those who are like don't want the government, as Tim Walz says in their examination room, right? It's pretty
Also,
interesting.
abortion ballot initiatives are everywhere in swing states.
It's crazy.
Hmm.
It's like, what do
They're
you
all
guys think? Like,
over. I think like Arizona and Nevada,
Yeah,
um,
and Florida.
Florida.
yeah, and
Those are
abortions are
It's
very
not really
in terms of
swing,
like
but
in terms of just like popular support. They are like they have very low numbers on that, and same with gun laws too. I'm pretty sure. So that's why like
mhm.
Mitch McConnell like has been spending like decades trying to get abortion banned, and it worked.
Yeah, it's like a conservative, almost like evil plot for the past, what, 40 years or something, a couple
Hmm.
decades, and
Like you wait for a Republican majority in
backfired.
the Supreme Court to bring up this case again. It scares me that it's already we've already seen like the Supreme Court act, and if like Trump gets elected again, he'll just replace Clarence Thomas and Alito
gonna be
with
so
like younger
sad.
Mhm.
versions.
Well, yeah, two things to that. One, it's actually kind of crazy to see Trump like immediately flip his position, even though he was the one who put in those conservative justices that overturned Roe. And then also during his presidency, like 2018, 2017, like full totally advocated for like a 20-week, 18-week abortion ban. So that's like, why should we trust him on anything else related to abortion when he says he wants to leave it to the states? And then also on that Vanch with like how important this election is, not only for like preserving our democracy, but for preserving what's left of the integrity of the court. I was talking to my uncle who has been like undecided while Joe Biden was running, and just recently he told me that he's voting for Kamala Harris. And he says it's the only reason, but I'm sure there are other reasons, but because of like the state of the court, and he knows that if Donald Trump's elected, he'll just put in more conservative extremists, and they'll outlive him, and shape the country in a crazy way like we've seen after Roe.
I hope this election just puts MAGA to bed forever. I don't know if
Yeah,
it will,
same.
but like
honestly,
I know.
it's like not out of the realm. I don't know. Like it's weird. No one can beat Trump except Trump, and Trump's too old. So, and I mean, like they physically cannot run Trump again after like
Well, yeah.
I
the-
I
what
unfortunately
that
think though like we're gonna see like the lasting impacts of Trump on the Republican Party for a long time. Like I don't think the Republican Party will return to its like what it was. It'll continue like at least for a little bit. I think that his impact on the party and like its shifting ideology will like be seen in the next candidates.
Republicans. Well, everyone. No one likes losing though, and Trump
True.
I know.
has lost them 3 elections going on 4.
Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, I guess 2 elections. No, 3 elections, and then
No,
going
three.
on four.
2018, yeah, 2020 and
Yeah.
22.
So if you lose this one, you can't lose 4 elections in a row. Like at that point, it's like
Yeah.
the moderates are going to be like, okay, buddy, like you had like your 4 elections, because and also there is no heir apparent to Trump. Like he tried Vance, he tried
True.
Yeah.
DeSantis. Like no one is able to have his like resistant to
And he
controversy.
turned his supporters against DeSantis, so it's not like
Yeah.
he really has a
Yeah.
chance.
I
I
mean,
think
he is like he's the Teflon Don. Nothing sticks to him. So, I mean, is there somebody else that has that ability? I don't know.
I just wonder though if the GOP like voter base will be like so fixated on Donald Trump type of issues, and if the candidates after him will have to pander to those type of issues, or if they'll be able to like go back to like actually talking about economic plans that's not just whatever.
Yeah, I thought they were going to get rid of him after 22, like that, because like literally every candidate he endorsed practically lost. Any
I
like
didn't
contested
think
race
that.
lost.
I didn't think that because
I mean, I thought they were going to like distance themselves because like he's clearly like, losing. But you're right. I mean, they again, political memory is very small, and people don't always remember how things went even 2 years ago. So you're right.
I mean, like, I think maybe the spell will be broken especially if he loses big. I mean, I somehow, like, I doubt that he'll lose big, but if he gets, like, blown out, which, I mean, Harris is gaining in the polls, yada, yada. But if
Yeah. Still,
I,
last election was only decided by like 40,000 votes.
yeah,
I think it's pretty safe to say that like any shred of integrity or decorum that the GOP had like prior to Trump is pretty devastated right now, just because of how he is as not just a candidate, but as an individual and a person. As for like viral political moments, I think Brat Summer and Flowers deserve an honorable mention right now. If we don't acknowledge that, the album of the summer. But yeah, that was my last question. So is there anything else that anybody wants to say before we end it here?
Fun time.
This was a very fun episode. I was
Yeah.
laughing a lot, and I very much enjoyed your questions.
Yeah.
Good, good. I'm glad.
All right. Well, good show. Nice talking to you guys.
Thanks for listening, and remember to stay updated by following us on all our socials. Until next time, this has been the Blue Crew Podcast.